Started probably, gosh, must have been 25 years ago now. I was swimming in Maui. But I was just swimming with some cheap rubber diving fins from the sports store. And I liked using those, but at one point I decided to take the fins off and try doing the same dive no fins. And I was really surprised to find out that the dive was not any more difficult to do no fins than it was to do with the fins. And so that's where I realized that swimming fins help you go faster, but it doesn't improve your efficiency very much, if at all. And I was surprised by that and started to think that, well, maybe there's something that could be done about that, building a different kind of a diving fin. At the time, I really didn't know what that would be. The second part of it had to do with when I started scuba diving, and I noticed that my scuba fins were always making my feet cramp up. Usually by the end of the dive, I just had real terrible pains running up through the sides of my foot. And that was when I started to think, gee, it seems like there could be a way to build fins that didn't hurt your feet. And again, I wasn't quite sure what that technology should look like, but those were kind of two things that I had lingering in the back of my mind for a very long time. And the third thing that started to really pull it together, I distinctly remember swimming at Ginnie Springs in Central Florida. And again, using my cheap rubber fins, but I found that if I used the Dolphin kick, where I kicked both of my feet together, the fins seemed to work better. And I noticed that once I got used to it and got comfortable with it, 90% of all my swimming was using Dolphin kick. And I thought, gee, this works better, and fins could be built to exploit that. And it would work a lot better if instead of having fins that are kicking the two fins together, you have something that's shaped kind of like this, but it would be better to have something more like an airplane wing that had a higher aspect ratio, so that as you kick the fin, it would grab a larger volume of water, push a lot of water a little instead of trying to push a little water a lot, and that would be more efficient that way. So that was kind of the initial idea for building something with a hydrofoil. It was several years longer before I actually built anything. It was one summer I had some time, and I was doing some fabrication in the garage. I had a drum set with a broken cymbal, and I was fixing that cymbal, and I was surprised at how good of a job I could do fixing that using standard hand tools. And when I was done, it looked like a brand new cymbal. And just on a whim, I grabbed a piece of wood, a 1x4, and started carving it, and started making a hydrofoil from it, and took the fin down to the river and started playing with it in the flow of the river, and it worked really well. But I noticed that it had a problem, was that the high aspect ratio type wing works really good and has real high efficiency right up until a critical point where all of a sudden the foil will stall and the performance tanks very rapidly. And then I realized the technological issue. Whereas typical fins that have a very low aspect ratio never really stall, they just experience a gradual buildup of drag, and at some point the drag equals the lift that it's generating. Whereas the high aspect ratio foil will generate lift that's 10 to 20 times the drag that it generates right up until that critical stall. And then it goes the other way very quickly, and it starts generating more drag than lift. I didn't know what to do about that for the time, so this hydrofoil just went into the closet for about 4 months while I thought about it. And I came up with two solutions, or two potential solutions I should say. One of them was very complicated, but if I could work out the mechanics, I felt should work. The other one was very simple, but I thought maybe 50-50 chance, or maybe worse, that it would work. But I thought, well, the easy one's easy to build, so I'll make that first and play with it. And if that doesn't work, then I'll try the more complicated. but it surprised me, and it kind of worked better than I thought it would anyways. I didn't know why exactly, but I started playing around with it, and after a while of working with it, I learned why it was working, and then I learned how to exploit those features of why it was working and improve on it. And 20 years later, this is what we have.
It reminds me a lot of a glider wing.
Yeah.
Very thin cross section.
Yeah, I think aspect ratio on these is somewhere around 12.
I noticed there's a curve on the tips. Is that by design? Much like an aircraft has a winglet? Or is this,
Yeah, actually this is a type of a winglet. This is called a, if this were an aircraft, this would be called a raked wingtip, right. the curved back. It's also got some curvature to it this way.
That's what I was looking at, yeah.
And they both serve functions. This initially resulted from me just wanting to shorten this foil up so that this fin would fit into a suitcase, because divers have to travel, and if you can't take your diving equipment easily, it gets expensive. Most monofins have to go into a special bag, and that's usually at least the second checked bag for divers, because they've always got one big gear bag that's got everything else in it. And that second checked bag is $35 each way if you're in the US. So I wanted to shorten the foil up but still have higher performance, so I shortened this up and put this plastic insert in to increase the span of it. This is a high performance foil, and this is a flat plate. To prevent the foil out here from stalling, I raked it because this flattens the lift curve slope and helps the foil achieve both stability and efficiency. And this, just folds up like this very easily to fit it into a suitcase. The curvature this way is kind of a personal trim setting. You can kind of play with it. How baseball players will massage their baseball mitt to get it to feel the way that they want. Same with this, you can kind of massage these and put a different kind of curvature onto it, and it will affect slightly the feel of the fin. What I usually do when I get home, when I take this fin for storage, to get it out of the way, I lean it up against the wall. I just stand it on the vertical stabilizers there with a fin like this, and if the floor were flat, the floor would be lifting up on these, and I find it puts just the right amount of curvature on it, and I just store it that way.
The boots detach easily for shipping as well?
They can detach easily. Normally you really don't need to detach the boots for shipping. If there's something to detach, what I would do is take these 4 screws out and just remove the foil. So for example, I did that with this fin because I was putting 3 monofins in my suitcase, 2 of the orcas and this, plus all of my other diving gear and half of my clothes too. So by disassembling them, you can really optimize the space in your suitcase. But if you're not taking 3 monofins, if I was just coming here with one of these, like a typical recreational diver would do, you don't have to disassemble anything. You just fold the wingtips up and drop it in.
Beautiful.
Nice. Visibility was so awesome out there.
Yeah, and
dolphins.
Dolphins all over, yeah.
Carlos, this was your first swim.
Yeah.
That was your first swim with orca.
It wasn't easy for me, but it got better towards the end.
Yeah?
Yeah. So it takes probably about a week to practice probably before you get good at it.
I'm an aircraft maintenance engineer, so so I pick up on the airfoil right away.
Yeah.
You can actually see it more
okay.
here.
So this is just a... did you get this custom design for yourself,
that's
or
a custom
you did
design.
it? Yeah, okay.
That was designed specifically for use on these diving fins. Its design characteristics specifically work in conjunction with how the suspension system for the foil works.
That's good.
They work in concert.
Yep.
If you mistakenly put the fin on upside down,
Yep.
the fin doesn't work anymore.
Really?
Finally.
It's a pretty fine airflow, right? I mean, it's not a. And that is.
I always used to do that too. Technically, with hydrofoil.
Yeah, hydro.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I used to always say airfoil too.
Yeah. Sorry.
was
I
used
work
to
on
it.
airplanes. I'm sorry. But it is inverted from what you would typically, right? I mean.
Well, normally when you're swimming,
Yeah. Okay. You're creating a low pressure on the top, I guess, or it does even.
it needs to thrust both directions.
Guys,
Okay.
how's it going?
Hey, hola.
Good afternoon. Good swim today?
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, those are really cool.
61.
Very nice. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Have a shot from the other
Are
one.
you marketing these? Are you eventually?
Well, this is a new design.
See, guys, the one thing about Ron's fins, the ladies love them,
Yeah.
right? Is that right?
We love them!
Now you go. All right, now you're talking.
Here we go!
Beautiful.
Get your new fin here! Where's the inventor? Woo! Here
That's Aloha spirit.
All right, wonderful, wonderful.